Welcome to the Avanti Woman podcast. With each episode, each conversation, we aim to empower, connect, and build women to move forward, feel confident, and thrive in healthcare, finance, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. We're glad you're here.
Good morning, ladies, and all you amazing people tuning in. Nairi and Sarah here with the Avanti Woman, and welcome to our podcast. Once again, we're excited to invite our returning guest, serial entrepreneur, founder, and CEO of Catalyst Coaching Solutions, Rayana Starr. In the last few episodes, Rayana explained what it means to be an entrepreneur, the science of entrepreneurship, and three fundamental elements or characteristics every entrepreneur should nurture and develop to be successful. We already covered the first two, mindset, how everything starts with and is influenced by your mindset, and habits and routine. If you have not listened to them yet, please make sure to visit our YouTube channel or all Apple podcast streaming channels. You can also access them via the link tree in our Instagram account at the Avanti Woman. Well, today is the third and final episode in our three-part series, Women and Entrepreneurship. And Rayana, we're looking forward to hear and learn about the third element, support and accountability.
Wonderful. Thank you, Naidi, for the wonderful introduction to get Rayana. So let's get straight into this third episode on support and accountability. Now, I don't know how you ladies have felt, but entrepreneurship can start out as a very lonely job, right? Naidi, Rayana. So tell us, Rayana, your expertise on support and accountability when we get into it and we are lonely. And it is just me, myself, and I.
We need support and help.
Yeah.
Yeah, entrepreneurship can feel like a lonely business, but here's the thing. No one succeeds alone. We all need help at some point. In fact, the very definition of being an entrepreneur, and again, I've referenced Michael Gerber's book, The E-Myth, many times because he breaks out the different roles that we play in our business. We're the technician, the worker bee that makes the product or delivers the service. Then we're the manager, the one who starts to duplicate and hire mini-me's to do the work and sets up processes and systems. And then the entrepreneur is the one that keeps the worker bee and the manager busy with their vision and what's next and the plan and where are we going now. They're the ones who steer the ship. And as an entrepreneur, we start off being solopreneur slaves. We have to really master that technician role. And then in order to move up and really get that time and financial freedom, there's a point where you have to trust other people to do the work for you. A lot of people are stuck in that solopreneur slave of where you're not really free in your business because you are trading time for dollars and you're doing everything because either you think you're the only one who can do it as good as you do it, right, or you don't trust people. Mm-hmm. And at some point, those are limiting beliefs you're going to have to get over because at some point, maybe it'll start with a $5 an hour VA from the Philippines to help you with menial tasks. But support and accountability are important. And the reason I clump them together is when we are accountable to either people who are supporting us or the expectations of our clients, we rise to the occasion and
absolutely
we really shine the best version of ourselves. So support is getting other people in and learning how to lead and supervise and train people. Whereas the accountability piece is as simple as do what you say you're going to do. Mm-hmm. Under promise, over deliver, follow through. If you can't, let people know, make the adjustments. I was experiencing this. It's so frustrating for me when I'm the customer with this blind company. I ordered a bunch of custom blinds for my office. Okay. And the first order, I got 6 blinds and it was like, easy peasy. Then I needed one more blind for a window I didn't think I needed a blind on. And that like took 2 months. I had to just chase them down. They weren't proactive in their communication, but my first experience with them was great. And I've had that experience, Mercury's retrograde. So I've had that experience of, with other service providers recently. So accountability is a way to raise the bar and back yourself into a corner and really leverage other people to rise to the occasion, stretch yourself, and do what you say you're going to do.
So let's talk about this a little bit, accountability, because I think a lot of people, you could have different definitions for accountability and people can interpret it differently. And a lot of times, we've all heard, and maybe it's even crossed our minds where, oh, I don't have time. I don't want people to think this of me. I don't know where to start. Why can't people just, or why can't people just hold themselves accountable and things of that nature? So what's at stake, when you're not accountable, when you don't hold yourself accountable, and you don't have those measurements to keep yourself accountable?
So there's two questions in there, and I love that. And I love how you're thinking, Sarah, is what's at stake? A lot of times we don't think through the costs and consequences of things.
Yeah.
I was a friend called me yesterday, and they're not in a really great relationship. It was a male friend of mine, and he complains a lot about this woman. And I said, well, what you got to consider is, what is it costing you to keep staying in this relationship that is just very negative? And so a lot of times we don't think of the costs or consequences as something because we've gotten comfortable. We've gotten in a rut. But we're not seeing staying in that comfort zone, that complacent zone, is stagnant. And you're not realizing that as you go along day to day, stuck in that complacent zone, it's costing you your dreams, your goals, you rising to the occasion, because accountability actually empowers us.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it takes effort. You've got to get out of your comfort zone. You've got to shake loose of that. But when we're going, there was this guy, I saw an email somewhere. Oh yeah, I signed up for digital marketer, and I'm doing all this certification for different levels of marketing. And they were sharing this guy. They shared some kind of link to this guy, or it was in my real estate investment stuff. And it was this guy that does this podcast that says, choose difficult. And I just started to read their whole philosophy on that. And I went, I love it, because we think we want things to be easy and comfortable, but actually you're dying a slow death when you live there. Now, it's good to hover there for a brief period of time, but then you've got to be looking at what's next. Where can I grow? And accountability provides that. It provides the motivation for you to keep getting better, and having other people hold your feet to the fire. And a great way to find out if you are someone people can count on is just start asking people and be willing to hear the honest answer. Am I someone you can count on?
Yeah.
Am I someone you can rely on? Because if you're gonna, go ahead.
And no, I was just gonna say, and that may be hard for people, right? To pick up a phone and say, if I call you, Nighty, and say, be honest with me, and you always are, Nighty, so I don't even have to say that, but be honest with me. How am I in these elements? Maybe I can ask Nighty, but it's difficult to do that. If we, what are some of the other ways? And maybe you're going to get into this, but like for myself, if I look at it from my corporate experience, and something that I do for myself in my business is I establish clear objectives. And then I say, okay, here's my overall objectives. Here are my goals, and my goals are aligned, and I have to align a strategy to those goals, right? And how do we keep ourselves accountable if we did that in the business, in our business?
Well, first, yeah, objectives are like more of a where you want to get to. Goals get more specific about the specific measurements, SMART goals, specific, measurable,
Right.
attainable, realistic, and time framed. And then it's starting to lay out a plan. Like in the last session, we talked about let your schedule be your boss. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of keeping it super simple.
Yep.
And it's like, let your schedule be your boss, put it all in your schedule, lay it out, color code it, have certain different activities that are different colors. But also, I have meetings like with my COO, Michael. We have a meeting every Monday. Every
Right.
Monday is to discuss what are we focused on this week? What are the latest projects? There's also a great book called Scaling Up by what's his last name? Vern Harnish. Vern Harnish. He has a weird name, but Scaling Up. And he talks about how you can really leverage meetings for accountability, keeping your team updated.
Absolutely.
And I have never been a big fan of meetings because I'm like, I'm action. I don't want to be getting everybody's weighing in and let's just talk this thing to death. But I am now a fan of meetings because if you use meetings to actually get things done and to be held accountable, they can be very productive. And a partner planning meeting at the beginning of the week where you map out what are our goals to accomplish this week, today, whatever I want to get done. But also you can have these daily huddles where you have short little
Right.
10 or 15-minute
15-minute.
check-ins. Like, yeah, I have one coaching client that like at one point he had like 7 accountability buddies, and he would have these, like I would see his calendar, and like the first 2 hours of every day were like 15 to 30-minute little accountability meetings he'd have, and he had them every day. And this guy is one of my most successful real estate investment clients because he is very systematic. He leverages accountability like nobody's business. The other way is accountability buddies. Like for me, in areas that I'm not as good with accountability for myself. Like sometimes you're just good. Like I have a housemate, a good dear friend of mine. She's the most disciplined, time managed person I've ever met in my life. Like she just boom, 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 very disciplined. And for me, like when it comes to say exercise, even though I really enjoy it, it's about getting started for me. So having people that I'm texting, like friends, okay, I got my walk in today, or I did my HIIT training or my yoga. So there's a lot of ways to be held accountable. There's also online tools like Habit Forge or these, workflow kinds of things. There's a lot of tools online for habits or for accountability, or even joining a little accountability group. Mostly what we call our coaching in our boot camps and in our group coaching programs is accountability group coaching. And that the coaching is about having people follow through. Now, if you feel resistance about accountability, think of it only as someone supporting you in following through to do the things that you said you wanted to do.
Yeah, I have
So a lot of times people feel dominated by accountability, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can find it to be very empowering.
Well, and here's a quote. I'm sorry, Nighty. Can I just share this quote? And then
Sure.
Here's a quote that I found, or a statistic I found with the American Society of Training and Development, which says that it found that that people are 95% more likely to reach their goals when they share them with a group and meet regularly to review them. 95%. So what it goes along with
mastermind groups. Mastermind groups were developed for exactly that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Accountability.
And I agree with that, Sarah. And I'll give you the example of, in my own business, my own company, I have a team of 30 associates, and we do high profile projects with, medical groups, health plans or whatnot. We have funding from them. So what we need to maintain is accountability and results. So how do you measure that accountability? How do you make sure each of your team members that are involved in these programs are accountable and they're delivering. So I've created a weekly meeting and a template report where they have to have that meeting and they have to submit their weekly report with what they've done and accomplished. And it's hard data. And at the end of the month, we pull it all together, and it's data that really speaks volumes to these partners. And that's
Right.
it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay.
So beautiful.
Yeah, and we talked about KPIs, key performance indicators, the other day. And, you know, as I study more of these marketing courses with digital marketing, you know, I'm not a big data person. I like people providing me data, but data is useless all by itself. It has to
Right.
have context,
That's
and you
right.
have to have measurements and KPIs and have people accountable for things that are relevant for their role or what they do. You know, just having someone always drilling you, you know, not enough, get better, blah, blah. That doesn't empower anybody. The whole, I coined a term empowered accountability, because we
I
all
like
know we
that.
need accountability, but there are some people that just say they want it. And it's very challenging as when they're a client. They say they want accountability, but then they're very squirrely about it. And, you know, it's just calling them out and just saying, hey, look, you know, you said you wanted accountability. And that's the tightrope you walk as a business coach, is not alienating people, but you've got to be comfortable calling people out on their stuff in a diplomatic and yet empowering way. And as a coach, your main goal is to empower people to take action to achieve their goals and hold them accountable. If you're just nice, they don't get value out of nice.
That's true.
Right.
They get value out of being held accountable. And here's the thing, as a coach, I'm not running the agenda. You are, as the client. You're the one saying, hey, I'm not good at my marketing, or I need to learn sales. And then I put you in a situation where you're learning those skills and it's uncomfortable. So you don't want to do it. We don't want to do things that are uncomfortable, but that is where the transformation is. The transformation is being willing to choose difficult, choose uncomfortable, and then develop a habit around it. It's hard in the beginning, and then it's really uncomfortable in the middle. But once you start to see the progress that's being made, that's why I say don't worry on the results or the outcome. It starts to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and accountability is very empowering. So if you look at mindset, kind of bringing all of this together, you look at mindset is where it all begins. That's where the idea begins. That's where we got to overcome fear and roadblocks, limiting beliefs. And then habits and routines are the actions you take consistently, like around revenue generating activities, marketing, networking, sales, operations. And then accountability is you just like the general manager, just going around and making sure everybody's doing it all.
Yeah.
Like
You know,
that.
that's what it's the glue that pulls it all together.
Right.
And I like how you put support and accountability together in your title, because I was just thinking as you're talking about my life, and I'm like, you know, at some point, if you don't ask for support, then you default on accountability because you're at capacity and
You're right.
you can't manage anymore.
You're right.
Well, accountability is support. If you think about it, even if you're just holding yourself accountable with tools, if I'm holding myself accountable to my Google Calendar, that is support.
But if my business is getting so big, you know, way beyond I can personally handle, if I don't hire support, then I will default on accountability. It's just, you know, simple human nature. I don't have the time.
Well,
I'm
or
overwhelmed.
I would even challenge that, Nairi, and say you will be less capable of being accountable without support. They go hand in hand,
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
you reach your capacity, and when you reach your capacity, you're not capable of anything else. You need support in order to be accountable and expand your capacities, like you're learning with your new assistant, you know, like giving more. But here's the thing, as entrepreneurs, we want freedom. We want time freedom and financial freedom. In order to have freedom, you have to give up control.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
Absolutely.
And it sounds weird, doesn't it? It sounds like a
But
contradiction.
absolutely, absolutely. Just to kind of wrap this segment up, one of the things I want to make sure people who are listening, all the lovely ladies and individuals out there, is not to get overwhelmed when we talk about accountability, because in the beginning, as an entrepreneur, it could just be like you've mentioned,
You start
your
small.
Google Calendar. It could be your Outlook. I like Outlook. It could be your Outlook. It could, and then it can morph into beautiful dashboards and KPIs and things of that nature as
And a
you're
weekly
hiring.
team meeting, and then huddles it.
Right.
Yeah, you start small. You
So there's
start
a
with one thing.
whole spectrum of tools that can be used for accountability, but not for, no one should get overwhelmed when we say accountability. You start out small, and then as you're hiring people, you have huddles, you have weekly review meetings, and then you can create dashboards and align goals to that, and then you can have KPIs, key performance indicators, and so forth. So
Well, one step at a time, but basically, even accountability becomes a habit over
that's
time.
right. That's right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I think we want to be able to then, I think, Rayana, you put it wonderfully and beautifully. All three of these segments and that we just discussed over the last 3 episodes, they all tie in hand to hand. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, to wrap up accountability, and really you can see this at each step: mindset, habits, and routines, support, and accountability. When you get out of your complacent zone and you really make a commitment to operate on that edge of your comfort zone where you're stretching yourself, and it doesn't have to be crazy stretch, you boost your confidence every time you learn a new
Absolutely.
skill, every time you stretch yourself, every time you do what you say you're going to do. My best days are the
Amen.
days I do things I don't want to do. And I make
Absolutely.
myself do them because they're on my calendar.
Mhm.
So accountability is a great way to boost your confidence, increase skills, and learn how to trust yourself more. If you aren't very good at following through and doing what you say you're going to do or honoring your promises, which is the majority of the population on the planet, unfortunately. I used to get so frustrated by that, all the flaky people in the world. And then I started studying human design and learned that only 30% of the people on the planet are designed to actually exert their willpower and actually follow through and make promises and do what they say they're going to do. So accountability and integrity and following through and making promises is difficult for people. And so having empowered accountability and support, there's so many ways. The way I might hold one person accountable, being really direct and in their face, may not work for someone else.
Right.
Mhm.
Someone else I might have to coax a little bit. So it's
That's true.
find out what works for you. There's so many, ways, but there's a path. And that the reason my coaching platform is mindset, everything starts with mindset, is because if you can't get out of that starting gate of mindset, you can't do the rest. You can't take action. You're not going to follow through on your promises. Once you deal with eliminating fears and limiting beliefs, now you can get serious about setting goals and actually doing the hard work. The hardest work is habits and routines. That is the hardest work because you're going from not having something in place and it's learning a new skill, learning a new habit, and it's super uncomfortable because you haven't mastered it. And that's where people give up. They don't want to deal with themselves. If you're willing to deal with yourself, like, whoa, I'm lazy, or whoa, I'm slimy, or whoa, I'm trying to hide, and I'm a coach and I have things in place like support groups and stuff. And we hold each other accountable. And I dread the days where I have to go in and have to clean up my integrity because I didn't follow through. I didn't do my exercises 3 days a week. But then I think, you know what? That's really good for me. Choose difficult, choose uncomfortable. So where the support and accountability comes in is it's supporting the mindset shifts and the development of those habits and routines. They all are necessary in order for you to take action, no excuses, and get results
I
in
love
your
that.
life and in your business.
Take
Absolutely.
action, no
No
excuses.
excuses, just
get
results.
results.
That's my tagline.
Rooftop message.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. This was
Yeah.
amazing. Any final words, Sarah?
No, I really enjoyed all three of these segments, and I think they were just such wise advice. The advice was very wise and tested, I know. So Rayana, thank you very much. I just encourage everyone listening to re-listen to the podcast, remind yourself of some of the tips, and reach out to Rayana, look at all the books that she suggested. I highly recommend it. So thank you, Rayana.
Thank you,
Yeah, and
Rayana.
just my pleasure, and just I really appreciate, ladies, so much for the invitation, the interest. You're both delightful. I hope we get to do this again. I have other ideas, but I will include a link to my Facebook group, my calendar, my phone number, and this free webinar, Permission to Thrive. For anyone who's interested, I'm available. I'm happy to serve and help you on your
Beautiful.
entrepreneurial journey.
Visit.
Thank you.
Exactly. Rayana's information will be on every caption, and as well as on our YouTube channel. So make sure you visit our YouTube channel as well as all Apple podcast streaming channels. And remember what she said: take action, no excuses, just results. With that said, ladies, remember, as entrepreneurs, we must work hard with consistency and determination, and have the drive, stamina, and fortitude to push through any challenge or obstacle until success is achieved. Till next time, take care of yourselves and see you later.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today. For more engagement, you can find us at the Avanti Woman on all social and media platforms. Follow us on Instagram, join our community group on Facebook to chat, subscribe to our YouTube for our latest videos. You can rate us 5 stars on Spotify and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you for helping us reach even more Avanti women just like you.